President Tinubu Lord's Finance Ministry as mortgages reach 1,859 families. Senate NANS, NLC, NUT condemn Oyo school abduction. INEC investigates voter database data leak. On the foreign scene, Kenyan court holds US-linked Ebola facility. And in sport, Athletics Federation of Nigeria sets dates for national trials. I am Princess Ekeze. President Bola Tinubu has commended the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Real Estate Investment Fund for delivering 128 billion naira in mortgages to 1,859 families across 25 states. He said the initiative has expanded access to home ownership through long-term loans of up to 20 years at a 9.7% interest rate. President Tinubu added that the scheme, which has also unlocked 221 billion naira in property value, is a key part of his administration's housing reforms. Senators condemned the abduction of pupils and teachers in Orire local government area of Oyo State, describing it as a serious threat to national security. Senate President Godswill Akpabio at plenary urged security agencies to intensify efforts to rescue the victims and bring the perpetrators to justice. He also warned against politicizing the incident and called for national unity and support for security agencies in addressing insecurity. In the wrong.
Every second, a story breaks.
President Bola Tinubu has formally presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
The nation reacts. The world shifts. History moves in real time. Before the noise, before the opinions, one screen keeps you connected. From the headlines shaking the nation to the stories everyone talks about tomorrow. Stream anytime, anywhere. When the story matters, you know where to turn. ADBN, a part of you.
We apologize for the mix-up. As insecurity persists across parts of the country, private security practitioners are calling for greater use of modern technology in national security operations. Speaking in Abuja ahead of a proposed national security conference, the convener, Charles Awuzie, said Integrating advanced technological tools would strengthen efforts to tackle banditry, kidnapping, insurgency, and other crimes. He stressed the need for a coordinated national security framework, noting that existing gaps is essential for lasting peace and stability.
The moment we begin to take first approach, you begin to simplify, basic things like tracking location. That's quite basic. Like our co-founder rightly said, these guys are posting on social media. Every device, like we know, that is connected on the internet has what we call an IP address. Yes. And every device itself also has what we call a MAC address. And it is very easy to collaborate with the owners of TikTok, to trace the IP address from which these posts are made, and easily, locate the locations or the geolocations using the IP address.
Operatives of the Special Tactical Squad of the Force Intelligence Department have arrested 4 suspected members of a criminal gang linked to the killing of the traditional ruler of Ochia Autonomous Community in Imo State, Eze Paulinus Ekweme, and his security aides. Parading the suspect in Abuja, commander of this STS-FID, ACP Victor Godfrey, identified them as Ezekwe Destiny, Martins Amadi, Azogo Lucky, and Chinwendu Evanesto, also known as Killer 2. He said investigations established the alleged pros in the attack. Security correspondent Fumilola Adeyemi reports.
His Royal Highness Eze Paulinus Ekweme and 5 others on April 10, 2026 along the Asawara Road in Hohaji, Egbema, Imo State is the focus of this news conference. 4 persons linked to the death of the monarch who had returned from abroad to celebrate Easter with his people are currently in police custody. The commander of the Special Tactical Squad explained how the traditional ruler was allegedly lured to a meeting before the attack.
He was allegedly lured to a meeting at Ochai, his community in Ohaji Egbema local government of Imo State. Upon returning to Owerri, him and 5 others were ambushed, overpowered, brutally murdered, and burnt beyond recognition. Upon intelligence, the PG of the community, Ezekwe David Destinies, was fingered to be responsible, having had a protracted dispute over the PG ship. Upon arrest, the PG confessed to those physical responsibility. It was to note that the community hosts Watersmiths and Saplet Oil Company on 12/5/2026 at about 16:00 hour. STS FID operative in a well-coordinated operation arrested Chinwendu Mirabel Everest, aka K2, which means killer number 2, who opened fire on the Eze and 5 others.
6 other suspects allegedly involved in gun running and counterfeit currency operations have also been arrested in separate operations.
From 22nd to 24th May 2026, SCS FID operative coordinated by ACP Victor Godfrey, acting on actionable intelligence, arrested 6 suspects. They are Haja Munera Ahmed, 41 years old from Kano State. 2. Chinedu Chukwe Patrick, 42 years old from Enugu State. Umaru Obadiah, 39 years old from Kaduna State, in which the pistol and ammunition were recovered. And 4. Solomon Michael Dara, 48 years old from Kogi State, who impersonated as a captain in the Nigerian Army.
With the arrest of the suspects, the Special Tactical Squad of the Force Intelligence Department said it remained committed to sustain intelligence-driven operations against criminal elements across the country and assures Nigeria that similar crackdown will continue nationwide. From the nation's capital, Fumilola Adeyemi, ADBN News.
Presidential Villa has placed under tight security today as military, police and DSS operatives restricted access following reports of a planned protest. Roadblocks were mounted at major entry points, including routes from the Federal Secretariat and Asokoro, with access limited to residents, government officials, and those in official business. The heightened security followed threats by activists in African Action Congress presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore to lead a protest over the abduction of school children and teachers in Oyo State. Moving on, Federal Capital Territory Police Command has dismissed reports of a kidnapping at Phase 1 Primary School, Bagalape, calling it a false alarm that caused panic among residents and the school community. According to spokesperson Josephine Ade, officers from the Nyanya Division were deployed after a distress call. Investigation revealed the panic began when some pupils shouted kidnappers, prompting students and staff to flee. Police searched the school and surrounding areas but found no evidence of abduction or suspects and no victims. The command urged residents to remain calm, avoid spreading unverified information, and report suspicious activities through official channels. Meanwhile, residents of Aso community in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State were thrown into panic over a false alarm of a bandit attack and alleged student abduction at a private school. The report triggered confusion as parents rushed to pick up their children, while some schools closed early amid fear of insecurity. A senior police officer dismissed the claim, saying investigations found no evidence of any kidnapping or missing students. Police confirmed officers were deployed and findings forwarded to the Nasarawa State Command. Federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to defeating terrorism and securing schools, families, and communities across Nigeria. Speaking at a special briefing at Radio House, Abuja, Minister of Information Mohammed Idris said the recent abductions in Oyo and Borno states underscore the urgent need for national unity and coordinated action. ADB will bring you that report in our subsequent bulletin. Well, moving on, federal government has warned Nigerians against harassing or intimidating mining marshals of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, as it intensifies the fight against illegal mining across the country. Speaking in Abuja during the commissioning of 8 new gun trucks for the NSCDC mining marshals, the Minister of Minerals Development, Dele Alake, said any attempt to obstruct the unit's operation will be treated as economic sabotage. Security correspondent Fumilola Ademi reports.
The determination to protect Nigerian solid mineral resources has brought together officials of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, the Ministry of Interior, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps at the NSCDC headquarters in Abuja for the commissioning of new gun trucks. With a renewed commitment to curb illegal mining, the Minister of Solid Minerals described those seeking to frustrate the operations of mining marshals as economic saboteurs.
In spite of all the strong, ferocious pushbacks by those operators, illegal operators that had profited from illegal operations in the past, in spite of their pushback, the mining marshals have come to stay and their efficiency will be further enhanced.
The minister also issued a strong warning to individuals and groups engaged in illegal mining activity, stressing that the government will not relent in its crackdown on offenders.
Once you aid, sponsor, or operate an illegal mining site, government will go for it, will apprehend you, and you face the full wrath of the law.
In its remarks, the commander of the NSCDC mining marshal, John Onoja, commended the Minister of Solid Minerals, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, and the NSCDC leadership for strengthening the unit's operational capacity.
We have nothing to tell the federal government than to assure the federal government
the Minister of Solid Mineral Development, Minister of Interior, the Commandant General of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and our grandfather, the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that will now rest on us, will ensure that we'll continue to put our best and operate even above our limit to ensure that the protection of critical national assets and infrastructure, where that of solid mineral feature prominently, will remain our major focus.
Following the remarks, the newly acquired gun trucks are formally commissioned for deployment. With the addition of the new vehicles, the federal government expressed confidence that illegal mining activities will be significantly reduced, leading to improved security of mining sites and increased revenue generation for them. From the nation's capital, Fumilola Adeyemi, ADBN News.
Nigeria Police Force has begun a 2-day forensic and fraud investigation training for 300 officers selected from commands across the 6 geopolitical zones. River State Commissioner of Police CP Olubenga Adepoju says the training is part of ongoing police reforms aimed at strengthening capacity and modernizing policing. He urged participants to apply the knowledge gained to improve investigations and crime prevention.
It is a deliberate recognition of your high potential and capacity. It also places upon each of you the solemn responsibility to become specialists and thought leaders in a pivotal aspect of modern law enforcement, forensic and fraud investigation.
Convener of the training, Her Royal Highness Dr. Pearl Chidinma Obulu, commended Inspector General Police for driving reforms within the force. She said forensic science and digital intelligence are key to effective modern policing.
I encourage you to embrace this opportunity wholeheartedly. The future of criminal investigations lies in forensic science, digital intelligence, and evidence-based policing. Strive to become the finest forensic investigators Africa has ever produced, setting standards that others across the continent will aspire to follow. I also wish to specifically thank the Commissioner of Police River State Command, CP Adepoju Olubenga, for your prompt response, exceptional coordination, and commitment to bringing officers together in the preparation for the future of forensic investigation within the Nigerian Police Force. As we commence this training today, let us remain committed to excellence, professionalism, and continuous learning.
Senior Speaker Dr. Stacey Ann Wardo described forensic investigation as it uses scientific methods to establish facts and support justice, and stressed the need for accuracy and strict adherence to forensic procedures during investigations.
Forensic is what to the courts. Using scientific means, application of scientific means, using technological method. You understand? Scientific means plus technology to the courts. That's simple.
Well, the training is expected to strengthen the investigative capacity of officers and improve the handling of complex criminal cases. Moving on, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu has assured officers and personnel of the Nigerian Army of continued command support, clear policy direction, and institutional backing to enhance operational effectiveness and combat capabilities. Lieutenant General Shaibu gave the assurance at the closing ceremony of the 2026 Combat Support Arms Training Week held in Uyo, the Akwa State capital, with senior officers, tactical commanders, and operational leaders in attendance. Speaking after the final lecture, Chief of Army Staff, represented by Chief of Special Services and Programs, Army, Major General Aminu Garba, emphasized the need for participants to translate the knowledge gained during the training into practical actions.
The future of combat support will depend not only on platforms and equipment, but also on doctrine, training, integration, and the disciplined application of innovation to operational needs. In that regard, I am encouraged that this training week has not merely highlighted achievements, but has also given due attention to the practical gaps, constraints, and areas requiring improvement.
And on behalf of the organizing committee, Commandant of the Nigerian Army Intelligence Corps, Brigadier General David Umaru, said the training will promote disciplined application of innovation and technology in addressing operational challenges.
Sincerely thank our keynote speaker, Professor Okechukwu, as well as all presenters, discussants, moderators, and other resource persons who contributed to the lectures and lecture sessions during the week. Your insights, experience, and professional perspectives enriched the discourse and added value to the deliberations. We are deeply grateful to our retired senior officers. Your presence, counsel, and wide wealth of experience continue to add depth and perspective to the gathering of this nature.
Marks Governor of Akwa Ibom State, represented by the Commissioner for Internal Security and Waterways, retired General Koko Asonye, expressed confidence in the Nigerian Army's capacity to address the nation's security challenges and restore peace across affected communities.
These are not very good times, but because of the good work of the Nigerian Army, the good work of the security services, we are still able to sleep and wake up. And so we know that we are tackling all these challenges, whether it is on land or it is in the waterways, and we continue to stand with you, we continue to support you, and we know that in a short while, we will get rid of these enemies. We believe in the Nigerian Army, and we know that you are doing everything necessary to deal with this.
The week-long training featured technical and tactical sessions, combat demonstrations, static displays of military equipment, interactive engagements, and communique of the 2026 COSAT Week. You're watching ADB News at 7. Stay with us. We'll bring you more stories after this break.
Abuja is rising. The Federal Capital Territory is moving forward with purpose, progress, and renewed hope. Join the Federal Capital Territory Administration as we celebrate the commissioning of 27 landmark projects and the flag-off of 2 new ones under the visionary leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, by the Honorable Minister of the FCT, His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Ezenwo-Wike, CON, and Honorable Minister of State, FCT, Dr. Maria Mahmood, in commemoration of the 3rd anniversary of the administration of Mr. President, champion of the renewed hope agenda, and the commemoration of 50 years of the Federal Capital Territory. From June 8th to July 17th, 2026, witness the commissioning of completed transformative projects designed to strengthen infrastructure and democratic institutions, improve livelihoods, and modernize Nigeria's capital city. Projects and landmark events include over 20 major roads, interchanges, and bridges covering more than 100 kilometers across the FCT, expanded water supply to satellite towns, the magnificent Court of Appeal Complex Abuja Division, new staff quarters of the Nigerian Law School Wari, ultra-modern office annex for the body of benchers, modern judges' quarters, remodeled Abuja City Gate, launch of the sales office and experience center of the Abuja City Work Development, and the unveiling of Abuja at 50 Compendium, celebrating the history, growth, achievements, and future vision of Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, and many more impactful people-oriented projects aimed at improving mobility, housing, justice delivery, public service, and the overall quality of life for residents. This is progress you can see. This is development you can feel. This is the renewed hope agenda in action. Come and be part of history as the President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, redefines development in the FCT. The Federal Capital Territory Administration, building infrastructure, preserving history, empowering communities, transforming lives.
Glad to have you back on the news. And now to the rest of our stories. Senate has passed for 3rd reading a bill seeking to establish the National Agency for Malaria Elimination, a development lawmakers ascribe as a major step toward tackling one of Nigeria's most persistent public health challenges. The legislation sponsored by Senator Ned Nwoko seeks to provide a legal framework for the coordination of a national efforts aimed at prevention, control, and eventual elimination of malaria in the country. Addressing journalists shortly after the bill's third reading, Senator Nwoko insisted that malaria elimination in Nigeria is both practical and achievable.
As I said from the beginning, it is achievable. It is something that should be done. I still know some families that have lost some loved ones in the last few weeks, last months, last few years. So it is not something that is not a story. It is the biggest killer. But the reason why we in Africa or in Nigeria don't seem to bother so much about finding solutions is because of our lifestyle, the African lifestyle, the Nigerian habit, as if, just as you said, my brother, malaria has become part of us.
Speaking after the passage of the bill, Senate President Godswill Akpabio described the legislation as a landmark intervention in the fight against malaria.
Let me thank the chairman, members of this committee for doing a wonderful job. Malaria has been a major scourge that has claimed a lot of lives and led to impairments all over Nigeria and the equatorial region, West Africa as a whole. And I've always prayed that one day we'll find a permanent cure or a permanent vaccine for malaria elimination. Let us hope that setting up this national agency would lead to such an effort. And then we can finally say, yes, indeed, that we have gotten rid of malaria.
The bill will proceed to the House of Representatives for concurrence before being transmitted to the President for assent. A leadership battle within the opposition caucus of the House of Representatives spilled onto the floor of the chamber on Thursday following allegations of forgery and inducement linked to the race for the position of minority leader. The disagreement began after lawmaker Philip Abese alleged that his signature was forged on a document endorsing fellow member Ikenga Ugochinyere for the position. Abese also denied reports that lawmakers received $50,000 to support the endorsement and called for an investigation.
My attention was due to a document on the internet with my name, purportedly nominating a member of this House for the post of minority leader.
Rejected the allegations, insisting that the endorsement was voluntarily signed and backed by a majority of opposition lawmakers.
My brother arrived from Benue late for our meeting, met me in the office, in the presence of some of my colleagues that I will bring forward, and voluntarily, on his own and independently, pledged and signed my nomination for the post of minority leader.
I never did, Mr. Ikenga.
Mr. Speaker,
we didn't hear that from him. Members of the minority will come before all of us and will know who the leader would be. The decision regarding who shall be a principal officer will verge primarily on Cognizant's experience. This man,
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
I'll be here for 3 years.
Point of order, is not a member of minority, sir.
You don't have
We have members.
We have members. There is no point of order when he's talking on privilege.
We have members.
Please.
We have members from the same caucus of minority who have 9, 15, 10, 12 years here.
The development comes as opposition lawmakers continue consultation to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of former minority leader Kingsley Chinder.
let us not continue talking about an issue we can be able to resolve between ourselves, please.
House of Representatives has raised concern over the increasing rejection of National Youth Service Corps NYSC members by government ministries, departments and agencies. Lawmakers say the trend undermines the objective of the scheme and limits opportunity for graduates to gain practical experience during the service year.
The House resolves all ministries, departments and agencies of government, including the National Assembly, to desist from rejecting COP members and instead develop work schedules to accommodate them and integrate them into the economic value chain.
The House also expressed worry over blocked drainage systems and waterways in parts of the Federal Capital Territory, warning that they are contributing to flooding and environmental risks.
The House resolved to urge the Federal Capital Territory Administration and the Ministry of Works and Housing to urgently clear blocked drains and repair drainage system along Shehu Shagari Way, Lasale Junction, Avoni Koku Way, and other blocked and prone areas in Abuja.
Lawmakers urged relevant authorities to take urgent action and directed committees to monitor compliance with the resolutions. Elsewhere, Independent National Electoral Commission INEC continues its nationwide continuous voters registration exercise, allowing eligible Nigerians to register or update their details ahead of future elections. In Abuja, many residents say the exercise is marred by long queues, delays, and technical challenges. While commending INEC for sustaining the process, they're calling for improved efficiency and better service delivery. INEC correspondent Fumilola Ademi reports.
The desire to participate in the democratic process brought hundreds of residents to various continuous voters registration centers across Abuja. But for many, the experience has been far from smooth. At the center visited, applicants were seen waiting for hours under the sun, hoping to complete their registration or biometric capture.
Honestly, it has been stressful. Last time I did not vote, and this time I said I must vote. Though I've not been around for a long time, but I did this registration in my state, and I've been here for since yesterday, so that I can even do transfer. I've been outside, just that when the gates opened, I was forced to enter. I forced myself to enter so that I can be able to transfer to this place so that I can vote. But even at that, none of them is even responding to me.
We were here yesterday, 2 days ago. Yesterday, we were asked to come again today. And we're asked to come before 8 o'clock. We've been here till this time. Nothing seems to be happening. It appears the whole process is to frustrate the applicants to let them go.
Some residents attributed the delay to insufficient equipment and large number of people turning out daily for the exercise. Others pointed to occasional network failures and technical glitches, which they say have further complicated the process.
How can a whole INEC office not even have working internet and all of that? For me, I even started the process online. That's how serious it is, right? But of course, on getting to some parts, you can't do capturing, you can't do. So I think INEC should just come together to see how they can make this thing effective and seamless for people to do it, or even have subsections where people can go.
When I've been here since around 8 and they've been telling us that they don't have network. Can you imagine 21st century and you don't have network up to this point? I'm very sure they've not even registered up to 10 persons. More than 99% of people here have not even registered. I've been here since around 8.
So they should work on, number one, their staff, especially this policeman here shouting on everybody. Second one is the network issues. Almost all the time, whenever it comes to election stuff and all that, you hear issues of network. They should just work more on their network server, I think. Yeah.
Despite their dissatisfaction, many of those interviewed remain determined to obtain their voters' card, describing it as a critical step in shaping the country's democratic future. They are now calling on INEC to address the challenges by expanding registration facilities, deploying additional staff and ensuring better network connectivity to reduce waiting time. From the nation's capital, Fumilola Adeyemi, ADBN News.
Federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to defeating terrorism and securing schools, families, and communities across Nigeria. Speaking at a special briefing at Radio House, Abuja, Minister of Information Mohammed Idris said the recent abductions in Oyo and Borno states underscore the urgent need for national unity and coordinated action. ADBN's Idorian Flannan was there and now completes the story.
The Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, assured Nigerians that the safe return of every abducted child and teacher is a top priority. He detailed ongoing security operation across all regions.
The President has made it clear that no child belongs in captivity and that no effort will be spared in ensuring that those responsible for these heinous crimes are brought to justice. The President has directed every lawful instrument available to the Nigerian state be deployed towards achieving this objective, including the deployment of specialized rescue teams.
The minister highlighted significant successes and emphasized that terrorism is being confronted in courts, noting recent convictions of terrorists and ongoing mass trials involving over 500 suspects.
While operational details cannot be disclosed for security reasons, I can assure Nigerians that multiple security and intelligence agencies are working in close coordination. The Armed Forces of Nigeria, the Department of State Services, the Nigerian Police, the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Office of the National Counterterrorism Center, the Office of the National Intelligence Agency are all working collaboratively to ensure that these issues are resolved.
Security agencies assured Nigerians that all resources are being deployed to rescue abducted victims and bring criminals to justice, urging citizens to stay vigilant and share credible information.
The Nigerian Police Force and all security agencies have deployed intelligence and operational tools, but it is not everything that we have to divulge so that we will not jeopardize the chances of success.
I want to allay his and every Nigerian's fear about what is ongoing. Now, the military has achieved a lot of successes. What we are even witnessing in some parts of Nigeria is a result of the success we are achieving in the traditional areas that have a lot of insecurity.
Security officers, people that serve Nigerians, are working day and night, 24 hours, to solve these problems. And most of these problems are solved without the details of how they are done out there.
The only issue we have at some schools at the grassroots level, most times we monitor them through our dashboard and through the CCTV cameras. But the issues we are having at the schools, at the remote areas, and you can see we are really working more on that in order to capture all the schools.
With fresh security measures, ongoing rescue operations, and a renewed call for national unity, authorities insist that defeating terrorism will require a collective effort of governments, security agencies, the media, and citizens across the country. From Radio House Abuja, Idorian Flannan, ADBN News.
Ministry of the Federal Capital Territory, Asonye, says the FCT administration is set to commence the commissioning of several completed infrastructure projects across Abuja and the satellite towns. Speaking after an inspection tour of key projects, the minister expressed satisfaction with the quality and completion of major road infrastructure, including the Jahi-Gwarimpa interchange, the Airport Road Kuje Expressway, the Kuje Township Road network, and the newly reconstructed City Gate. Barrister Wike described the project as evidence of the federal government's commitment to delivering the dividends of democracy.
They will choose which one first, and so that's why I have to say that until we believe by tomorrow we'll have gotten the final confirmation which one will start first. Like I said, it is not possible for Mr. President to go around by himself. I believe like what has always been done, the VP, the Senate President, the Speaker, the wife of the President, and other leaders in the administration. There's quite a long program. After the 27th day, we will have a flag off of Badaki and Tosuba, and then a flag off to the Southern Parkway. In fact, from what I've seen from the ES, they are likely to add 2 more roads for flag off, which is being carried out by CC, ECC. One has to do with where you have the body of Ben Charles Geraldine, and then to also start off where we stopped on the first one, which will bring it to Ring Road 3. So we may have 4 flag off. We have 4 flag off, but we are very happy, particularly the City Gate.
The issue of the abducted teachers and students, Wike assured members of the Nigeria Union of Teachers (NUT) that security agencies are working tirelessly to secure the release.
Not all the same Nigerians. That you see, I have not said, and I never said that we don't feel about the kidnap or the activities of bandits or terrorists. Nobody says so. All we are saying that, for example, not even teachers, every human being, the mere fact that somebody is being kidnapped should be a source of concern to any government. It has not to be whether lawyers, whether medical doctors, whether teachers. No. Security is for everybody. So you were there when even the man who led the protest came. He said, sir, that teachers have been kidnapped in Abuja. He was the one who said so. I never said so. And I said, look, we appreciate, we fit for it, and I know the government is doing everything possible to say that those who are kidnapped have been released.
The minister reaffirmed the commitment of the federal government and security agencies to ensuring the safe return of those still in captivity. Away from that, Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) has digitalized nearly 90% of its operations to boost transparency, accountability, and sustainable development. The reforms were unveiled at the NDDC Law and Development Summit, which brought together legal expert, policymakers, and development partners. Stakeholders discussed strategies to strengthen legal and institutional frameworks to support long-term growth in the Niger Delta. Correspondent Mite Incent completes this report.
As part of efforts to deepen transparency, accountability, and sustainable development in the Niger Delta, the Niger Delta Development Commission has unveiled far-reaching reforms aimed at transforming its operations and strengthening service delivery across the region. The Commission says nearly 90% of its processes have now been digitalized, while new governance and procurement policies are helping to drive a culture of efficiency and accountability. These developments formed the focus of discussion at the NDDC Law and Development Summit held in Port Harcourt. Speaking at the summit, the chairman of the NDDC Governing Board, Mr. Chiedu Ebie, underlined the relationship between law and development, noting it is foundational.
The relationship between law and development is not incidental, it is foundational. Law is not merely a set of rules and restrictions. In its highest expression, law is a living instrument of social engineering, economic transformation, institutional strengthening, environmental responsibility, and the protection of the rights and liberties of the people it serves. The aspirations of our people demand nothing less than a legal architecture that is bold, responsive, and fit for purpose.
In his opening remarks, NDDC Managing Director Dr. Samuel Obuku said the Commission had undertaken deliberate reforms to reposition itself from transaction to transformation. He noted that the recommendation by KPMG led to the introduction of new corporate governance policies and more transparent procurement process.
For us in NDDC, we know this kind of discourse is very, very important to our own development and our own operations, because we also need to be advised. For the first time, bringing legal luminaries together, judges, professionals in one room to also talk about law and development. Because as an interventionist agency, we believe law is very, very critical to our development. Because without law, there will be indiscipline. And when there is indiscipline, there will be no development. So law, development, and security are all intertwined. So for us, this is very, very important.
Participants and keynote speakers at the summit also examined the role of law, governance, and institutional accountability in driving sustainable development and ensuring that the people of the Niger Delta benefit from the region's vast resources.
Rivers State government remains committed to supporting initiatives that promote justice, development, economic advancement, and the well-being of the people of the Niger Delta. We commend the NDDC for providing this important platform for dialogue and collaboration among stakeholders. It is our hope that the deliberations at this summit will produce practical recommendations that will strengthen the rule of law, accelerate sustainable development across the Niger Delta region.
I would suggest that its limitations are not merely administrative, but structural. The NDDC operates within a fragmented governance architecture characterized by overlapping mandates between federal institutions, state governments, private sector actors engaged in corporate social responsibility, CSR and ESG initiatives, as well as a proliferation of NGOs. Rather than functioning as the central coordinating body, the Commission has often become one layer, albeit a significant one, within a crowded institutional ecosystem where responsibilities are diffused and accountability is unclear.
The summit seeks to provide a strategic platform for policymakers, legal practitioners, development experts, traditional institutions, environmental advocates, academia, civil society organizations, and stakeholders within and outside the Niger Delta to critically examine how law, governance, policy implementation, and institutional accountability can serve as effective tools for sustainable regional transformation.
The summit brought together legal experts, policymakers, development partners, and stakeholders to explore strategies for strengthening the legal framework needed to support long-term development in the Niger Delta. Innocent Mwite, ADBN News.
Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umar Eno has inaugurated a 5-member pioneer board of the Akwa Ibom State Electricity Regulatory Commission, tasking it to ensure stable power supply for homes, businesses, and industries within 18 months. Speaking in New York, Governor Eno described the inauguration as a major milestone stressing that reliable electricity is key to economic growth, job creation, and industrial development. ADBN correspondent Mary Onyemichi reports.
The commissioners just inaugurated emerged through a structured, transparent, and merit-based process, not by chance.
The dream of a reliable electricity in Akwa Ibom State may be a step closer to reality following the inauguration of the Pioneer Board of the Akwa Ibom State Electricity Regulatory Commission, ARCSEC. Governor Reno noted that the establishment of ARCSEC follows the Akwa Ibom State Electricity Law 2025 and it's part of ongoing reforms aimed at giving the state greater control over its electricity sector.
Power sector that supports enterprise, stimulates industrialization, improves quality of life, and unlocks the full economic potentials of our state. To the commissioners, your work is technical, your mandate is strategic, your duty is to the law, the market, consumers, investors, and to the people of Akwa Ibom State.
The governor assured residents of its investment in strategic power assets, expanding rural electrification, and promoting renewable energy solutions, including solar mini-grids for underserved communities. He also announced plans to train young people in solar installation and maintenance to create employment opportunities and build local expertise.
I believe that within the next 18 months, the problem of electricity in our state will be addressed to the best of our capacity, and our people will enjoy uninterrupted electricity supply, which they will pay for. That is our promise, and we're on track to achieving the premise.
The newly inaugurated commission comprises Mrs. Arit Uya as chairperson, Dr. Karen Udo as vice chairman, Engineer Obong Etukudo, Dr. Valerie Obot, Mr. Paul Okon, Dr. Kalu Okonha as commissioners. Speaking on behalf of the commissioners, ARCSEC chairperson Mrs. Arit Uya pledged to build a transparent, efficient, and investor-friendly electricity market that will attract investments and protect consumers, assuring residents that the Commission would be guided by professionalism, transparency, accountability, and public trust.
Your Excellency, we have listened carefully to your charge, and we'll work very hard to fulfill your expectations, very hard. And those expectations include professionalism, integrity, accountability, teamwork, and results.
For the people of the state, expectations are high as the governor's 18-month countdown to improve electricity supply begins. Mary Onyemichi, ADBN News.
And now we take you to the foreign scene where Lebanese residents expressed doubt Thursday over a U.S. brokered ceasefire with Israel, which includes pilot security zones barring Hezbollah militants. Many question whether the agreement will address Israeli military presence and past occupation patterns. Despite the ceasefire, Israeli drone strikes in southern Lebanon one and wounded several others, hitting villages including Marub and Zefta. The Israeli military warned people to avoid areas south of the Rani River. Hezbollah has not participated in the talks. And that's all we have for you tonight on our bulletin. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 258, on Start Time channel 140, Evo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website at www.adbntv.com. You can also watch us live from every part of the world by logging on to www.adbntv.com/live. I am Princess Ekeze. Good evening and thanks for watching.